This is a big game. Sunday Night Football, Lions at the Chiefs. The Lions are now a 2.5-point underdog. We were talking about this earlier in the week. It was a 1.5. The Chiefs just find ways to win when their backs are against the wall. That's the only reason for this. You were on the Chiefs. I was like, the Lions looks like a great pick. I don't really know now based on the movement. So are you still leaning towards the Chiefs at -142, -2.5?
Well, to be clear, what I had said was I know that the Lions are a better team than the Chiefs. And I know that I want to pick the Lions, but I'm just having trouble pulling the trigger because it is the Chiefs. I'm not betting on the Chiefs. I'm staying away from this game completely because the Chiefs backs against the wall at Arrowhead. We've seen this before. We saw it with the Ravens. Now the Ravens are now 1-4 and it looks different now, but at that moment, we were saying the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. Lamar is the MVP, et cetera, et cetera. Should have won 3 straight MVPs. And then the Chiefs come out and absolutely put it on them. They score 37 points. That was the first time in like 30 games they had scored more than 30 points. So it's just a situation where I am terrified because the Chiefs, and I get it, in sports betting, you're supposed to live in the moment. You're supposed to throw out the past, analyze everything for what it is right now. But with the Chiefs, because they have done it for so long, I'm having a real difficult time separating the two.
Yeah, I think it's the mindset of like, hey, the Eagles are going to win the game last night. Like, oh, they might not cover, but they're going to win the game because they're the Philadelphia Eagles and they're playing the Giants. It's like reversing those old thoughts that you may have in your head. Like, I think in this situation, you always think the Chiefs are going to win. But last weekend against the Jaguars, I would have never thought the Chiefs were going to lose to the Jaguars in a primetime game. That doesn't happen with Patrick Mahomes, right? Like when they're up 14 points, they'd won like 28 straight games, I think, when they were up 14 or vice versa, whatever the number was. They were on a massive winning streak when they got up by 14, didn't finish it. So I don't know if this is the year where we can say Patrick Mahomes is going to get it done. And this line movement is just what we've seen over the course of his career. People always side with the Chiefs at home when their backs are against the wall. I go back to the game against the Ravens and the Lions earlier this year. I would have never thought the Lions were going to go on the road and win that game. So this is a spot where it's a hard game to bet. I give you credit for staying away. I can't stay away from a primetime game. That's crazy. But yeah, I'll probably live bet it in some capacity because I don't really feel confident with either side.
Well, I do have some player props here. Parlay them up for plus 550 odds here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 really quick. The first two are both involving Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking him over 261.5 passing yards. This could be a typical Patrick Mahomes game where it's like 310 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But he's going to have to move the ball because the Chiefs' running game is non-existent. And the Lions are going to put points on the board. We know that about them. They're also going to be aggressive. They're going to go for it on 4th down. They're going to force you to play in a way you don't necessarily want to play if you're not 100% comfortable in your team. And right now, it's kind of difficult for the Chiefs to be at that level, but they've got to put everything in Patrick Mahomes' hand. We know that he can get to this line. Like, we know the talent that he has. And with Worthy coming back with Tyquan Thornton being there, that he has started to catch his stride a little bit more. The passing game does feel a little bit more open. And then I'll also take Mahomes over 12.5 yards for his longest running play. Now, I know this sounds weird, but again, the Chiefs cannot run the football. I think they're going to be dropping back to pass it a lot. And Mahomes has been more prone to scramble this season than at any point in his career before that. And he's also gone on record saying, I save my big run plays. I save when I absorb contact for the big games, the big moments. Well, you're going against the Lions, who very well could be in the Super Bowl this season. It's a time where your team, they're trying to avoid falling to 2-4. And at that point, if you go 2-4, you're not even guaranteed to make the playoffs. So this is basically a must-win for the Chiefs. So I like those two props there. And then my final one real quick, I'll take Jahmyr Gibbs over 68.5 rushing yards. Now, he's only gotten over this line 2 times this season. One game he had 67 yards, so he was right there. But the Chiefs, they give up 4.8 yards per carry. Over the last 3 games, that number has risen to 5.8 yards per carry. And the stat that I love, success rate, which measures how they do stay in front of the chains, they have the 3rd worst run defense grade in that category. So there's my 3 picks.
Yeah, I'm going to be on a different running back for the Lions. I'm going to take David Montgomery over 10.5 rushing attempts in this game. When you look at him, he's gone over this in 4 of 5 games this season. The one bad performance was against the Cleveland Browns. 9 carries, only had 12 yards in that one. Went back 18 carries last week, 65 yards. I think this is a game where Lions are going to come out, have to be physical. They're going to have to try to run the ball. I think they're going to work in both running backs pretty evenly. David Montgomery is going to get a lot of burn. So I do like that. Also like your thoughts on the Mahomes rushing prop there too, going over. I would just take him over in general for his rushing yards. I think the Chiefs will be playing from behind at some point in this game. Again, they can't run the ball. They still don't have a ton of vertical threats down the field until you add Rashee Rice back into the mix there. So I would like Mahomes just over 28.5 rushing yards in general, because he's been their one source of being able to run the football. So those would be my 2 plays in the game. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. It's always fun watching the Chiefs in prime time. I just don't know. I don't know about this team. I don't have any clear thought on how they're going to come out and play in this one outside the props that I'm taking.
Yeah, I don't either. And it's going to be, if they fall to 2-4, that could knock them down. Currently, they're 10th in the AFC. They could fall to 11, 12, 13, something like that.
Yeah, definitely. So be an interesting game there. It's a really good Sunday night football game. That's what I know. What was I going to say? There was a situation last week with the Chiefs. Oh, Chris Jones, embarrassing effort on that last Trevor Lawrence touchdown. He could have made that play. I truly believe that.
Did he have an injury? Because I saw someone say he pulled up because he had something.
He pulled up before the play even started.
He did. So I need to hear from his mouth that he had an injury, because then I can give him that excuse. But until I hear him say it, it looked like poor effort.
Yeah, and then there's people defending him, being like, he could have never made the play. It doesn't matter if he could or couldn't have made the play. He could chase the football a little bit. He just walked and watched him go right in the end zone. Like, he saw Trevor Lawrence taking off. Go, take an angle. Go try to get him.
I mean, Lawrence fell down twice.
Yeah, there's no excuse there. And honestly, the Jaguars were going to score. And they're on 2-yard line. They're probably scoring. Was that first down?
I don't know when it was. But don't forget, early in the game, Lawrence goes for and they smack it out.
Yeah, he's not very good. It's that whole Clemson contingent. Like, it's a fake. They're fake good down there in Clemson. South
I've got to admit, Trevor Lawrence not being good in the NFL is one of the biggest surprises that I can remember in my lifetime of watching college football and pro football.
It's good he's in Jacksonville, though, because I forget who said this, but somebody on the news laid it out, or somebody on SportsCenter or whatever. It's like, if he was in New York, he'd be Sam Darnold already. He'd be with 3 other teams. But since he's in Jacksonville, they're continuing to give him time, and like, he's their guy. And that's how it should be, because I do think if there's any chance Trevor Lawrence gets good, it's going to be under Liam Cohen in the coming seasons. Like, you should give a quarterback time, especially a guy like Trevor Lawrence. But if he was in New York, he'd be done.
And also with this system as well. Brian Thomas Jr., I know he's had a bad year, but he's a great player. Travis Hunter, ETN's run the ball the best he ever has. If he's going to succeed, it's going to be here.
Yeah, if they use Travis Hunter on offense, because they don't want to seem to do that enough. They don't want to seem to give him the ball.